What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Lone Duck's Gun Dog Chronicles. As always, we appreciate you tuning in. This episode, we're going to do a little bit of a Ask Me Anything. Kevin and I are doing a solo podcast, and he's got a bunch of questions to talk about the summer heat, talk about some of the gear that we're using, talk about some of the tests and trials that we're going to run, dogs in training, all that jazz, plus more. So stay tuned for a fun episode. First, I also would like to say we are putting emphasis on YouTube. We have been for the last few years with all of our training videos to help you teach your dog how to become a duck dog, how to become a next level advanced handling dog. And with that being said, we're adding the podcast to YouTube. So ourselves and our guests are going to join us live on video, being edited and hopefully the new equipment. You can tell we've kind of spruced it up a little bit, baby. So if you'd like to watch it, tune into the YouTube channel. A lot of like we just did one recapping our Argentina trip with Kat and Ethan, and through editing, there's going to be like pictures of the trip and some of our stats and some of like just really cool way to visualize being along on the ride for your listening pleasure and visual pleasure. I'm sorry you have to see Kevin, but hey,
it's all right.
You can 50, check out, 50, baby.
Yeah. We'll edit me out. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll edit Kevin's second chin out. We'll Zing!
Keep the third one in though.
Yeah, that's my favorite one to tickle. It's weird.
So what's happening, buddy? How are you?
Yeah, anybody, guys, thanks again for tuning in. This will be a fun one. I'm good, man. It's
sweltering is what it is.
And we just had a Patreon happy hour. We do those every other week, basically, where it's a Zoom meeting with me answering your questions, the Patreon community. And I hate to complain because there's, folks that live in Georgia and South Carolina and probably Arkansas, the South. But I don't care where you live. 98 and sticky humid sucks whether you're in Alaska or Georgia. It's still 98 and humid where you can cut it like butter.
It feels like when you go outside, like when you walk into a sauna and you get like that overwhelming, like
instant sweat.
Yeah. That's what it feels like.
And mind you, my tractor, the AC doesn't work. So now I'm in a hot box sauna, greenhouse effect in the tractor. So it's like you're in it just like dripping. But man, it's okay. We strategize our day accordingly to make sure everybody gets what they need to get. And we do it very methodically, where we are not screwing around.
No, you can't.
We are not. I don't want to train till 5 o'clock. I want to get done ASAP, but also make sure we got our job done. So it's like that fine line of get your job done, but I'm not screwing around. I don't want to hang out any longer than I got to. Neither do the dogs, neither the workers. So we're getting started earlier in the morning. Technically, it's supposed to cool off, but every morning I'm like, let's wait for force fetch in the afternoon. We can put a fan on, do it in the barn. But I can tell you by 3:30 in the afternoon of standing in the sun, I don't feel like force fetching. So I don't do that. I'd rather get it out of the way and just get it out of the way. So we're knocking that out still first thing. Same with T-pattern. And while I'm doing that stuff, the workers here are working obedience and doing chores. And then it's like, boom, as soon as I'm done, we are pedal to metal, getting to the fields and to the ponds. We have predominantly done water marks and water blinds, intermixed with shorter marks potentially. And I'm mitigating the amount of gut hunts, meaning the dog's out there hunting their ass off, trying to find that bird. I'm trying to have it be an easy to find situation. Might be hard to get to, but when they get to the fall area, they should come up with that bird. So they're not running a million laps trying to find this bird and have a heat problem.
With that, are you doing, because I'm envisioning like the dogs huffing and puffing and not really using their nose as much because they're just mouth breathing the whole time. Yeah. So do you take that into consideration too? Is it so like Shorter distances?
Yes and no. So I'm not just throwing 30-yard marks. I mean, they still got some meat to them, but I haven't in the last 5 days of this ridiculous heat wave. I'm not throwing a 320-yard bird. They're 150 and in. They are maybe a little more technical or working on what realistically what I've got a master test in 2 weeks. So we're just like making sure that crew that's running is getting little bits and pieces of things that they really need to work on or are struggling with. So down the shore blinds, down the shore marks, re-entries or staying off of points, like they're getting some technical things that don't need to be 300 yards. And in fact, like a lot of these dogs, how we raise them, like me raising this group of this crop want to go long. And now they're about to get shortened up to a 30-yard or 20-yard walk-up bird. So I'm like the last about month and a half, I've been reining them in and doing shorter marks just to get them to like check down. And so it is playing into my hand, if you will, to be throwing shorter marks at this current state. But I mean, I'm not doing 30-yarders just because it's hot.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
But again, to answer your question a little bit further, like what am I doing? I'm setting. Oh, you asked about hunting and about them mouth breathing and stuff. So we talked about it again on the Patreon happy hour, where I might be a little quicker to have the bird boy help the dog in this kind of heat. Like if the dog's trying, I don't want an accident to happen. I want, like, he did the job. He got to the area of the fall. He's breathing out of his mouth. He's sucking wind and it's getting worse. Step in and help the dog find the bird. Boom. Okay, let's move on. The more they run around, the hotter they get and the dumber they get and the worse it's going to get. So it's not going to get better by letting him run around like an idiot. It may not, like if it was 65 or 75 degrees out, I probably would let him keep hunting for it. But at this, 98 with 85, 90% humidity, which while I'm talking, I'll look it up real quick, that is going to kill a dog, literally kill a dog. So it's not worth finding a bird with a bird boy help or not.
No,
it's just stupid. So another way we mitigate it, Kev, too, and I did the YouTube short and the Instagram story type of thing on like, okay, the dog just ran. He's super hot. How do we keep him cool? Like help him cool down. So I'll run, for an example, yesterday we did a KRD, like a poison bird mark and blind, a down the shore mark and another down the shore mark. They got out of the water and they were struggling. And it wasn't that hard. They were just hot. Yep. You tie them out, put them in the shade, give them a little bit of water, and just let them cool down naturally. If you put a wet dog back in the dog box or your gun or kennel or anywhere where that moisture and heat can radiate, they're panting. Think about how hot I am right now, dude. And then you got that dog breathing on your neck, like that hot air. You know that feeling?
Yeah.
Dude, that's going in a tiny little enclosed box, that hot air that they're breathing, huffing and puffing like crazy. And then the steam off of their coat from the warm water and like the heat, man, it's making legit a sauna sweat room and they can't dissipate it. So we let them stay out in the shade, let the breeze cool them down, let their breathing come down. When they dry off a little bit, that's when they go back in the box. You don't want to put them in there soaking wet, huffing and puffing on a hot day like this. Even on a medium hot day, like that's a good rule of thumb, is to either towel them off, chamois them off, tie them out, let them come down, and then put them back up. Make sense?
It does. Is there anything you use for that?
So I mean, just tie out stakes. So the company, it's Cable Gangs. You've heard them on the podcast before. They've sent us stuff in the past, and they don't pay me to say it. It's the best. Their tie out steak.
Give us a call.
They could pay us. Yeah, you're right. That's a great point. They could be a paid sponsor. Just saying, but no, they don't. It's just they've
pretty heavy duty. They're pretty heavy duty
stuff for me to try out and give my honest opinion. And my honest opinion is I have 3 different types of tie outs. I don't use 2 of them. They suck. One of them is I'm not going to say the brand, but you pound it in and you need to have earmuffs on because of the clang is so loud. You you're deaf for a couple minutes after. So I don't put them out. The tie outs that Cable Gangs makes, I don't know why it doesn't make as loud a noise, but it doesn't. But they're just heavy duty. The way he constructs the actual tie out, so not the metal piece, but like the lead from the metal to the dog's neck is like indestructible. The dogs can't chew it off or chew it apart. I mean, it's really good. And so I've used chain gangs in the past, and Cable Gangs makes them. I just don't like them that much. It's a pain in the ass, quite frankly. So I've got like 6 of them, whap, 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 whap into the ground, pull the next dog, whap, 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 put it into the ground, next dog, whap, 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 put it into the ground. And by the 6th dog I run, it's enough
time to rotate
that first one.
Makes sense.
Boom, they go back in the box. And they're in the shade and they're cooling off. And I give them a little bit of water. I don't want to give them a boatload of water. I just want to wet their whistle, I'm talking like 1.5 inches in my dog bowl. I'm not giving them the whole dog bowl full of water. You just don't want them to get all that going all at once. That's not science. That's just me thinking.
Little bit at a time.
Yeah. If I'm breathing heavy and I slug water, I feel nauseous. That's my science behind it. So.
Makes sense.
And actually, a dog the other day, while he was doing his last mark, was drinking a bunch of water, came out, puked. Like, it's kind of just like one of those things when you're around dogs, you're like, yeah, he needs a little more, he needs a little less. Figure it out. No veterinarian told me how much to give him. I just have done it enough. But you just want him to cool off, dude. Another tip that I've never done, but is smart, is rubbing alcohol. And you just put it on like some of their like underbelly, armpit area, and that'll evaporate, which helps the cooling process. Never done it before. It's not a bad idea. Just not.
I feel like that would be a thing if you had one dog to do to give them a rub down, but you're working.
Well, I guess it's
dogs or something.
Sure. I mean, if it saved dogs, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like, do you do the extra mile? Sure. But I think the mitigation that I'm doing and I'm watching them out there working. I'm making sure that all the signs of heat stroke or heat intolerance or whatever, like, I'm being careful. So last thing I feel like doing, I'd rather not train today than be like, oh, I should just bring more rubbing alcohol. No, just give the damn dog a day off.
Right.
It's hot. So, no, we just are smart and be careful and are conscious of their well-being. And that's what we do. I've never tried like electrolytes and stuff in their water. I know that there's some like dog products out there that have that. I've never tried that. Not saying it's a bad idea or a good idea.
I feel like when we've talked with people from Purina, and maybe Dr. Ruth Anne's going to be on our show soon, so we can chat with her about this. We'll like pause the conversation until then. But
write that note down. Let's ask her that. That's a great point.
But I'm going to write that down. Yeah, but I feel like I've heard them talk before that like dogs are different than people in the way that they metabolize things and ingest different nutrients and whatever is different. And so you and I might benefit greatly from a quick swig of Gatorade or something during some intense action, but that a dog just needs water.
When was the last time you did some intense action?
When was COVID? I also haven't had a Gatorade in a long time either, but
fair. Great point.
Yeah.
Great point.
But No, I'm gonna make a note to talk with her about that. That's because awesome. That is very interesting.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I just hear for people who do things like that.
Yeah, I hear.
I've seen commercials with Michael Jordan.
Yeah, no doubt, dude. So, anyways, I think we can move on from the heat. I know that you're from the South and it's hotter than here, but like I said, what's the difference between a couple degrees when you can cut the humidity with a knife? Be safe out there with your dogs. Be smarter than they are, because they will keep hunting. They will keep running until they can't. Be smart. Keep them hydrated. Don't run them on a full belly of food. Get them in the shade. Cool them off slowly. Let them dry off. Then put them in the box, and you'll be fine. Good, Kev? Hit me with another.
We have, can we give a plug to our Dog of a Lifetime? We're doing a couple of those, and we should start doing them because I have a handful. Yeah. I have a handful that'll be good to read through.
We built this company, Lone Duck, on the foundation of the Unspoken Bond. The relationship we have with our dogs that we make during training, during hunting, with our families. They're with us all the time. Every ounce of you and them goes into your relationship, the Unspoken Bond, right? And I don't know, 8-9 months ago, we lost Buck. I've talked about it one time on the podcast. I didn't make an inspirational post on Instagram. I just haven't talked about it. And I want to. I should. He deserves it. And what I want to pay homage to him, but the idea I have is you all who listen to this show know what I'm talking about. You know the dog. It could be the one that you grew up with at 14, that maybe you got in college when you were 19 and it went to the frat parties with you and the duck blind the next morning and, watched your first kid get born. Like, we all have that dog. And I want to hear from you, your stories. I don't have it fully figured out, so bear with me on that. But what I want is content. I want information. I want stories from you. A couple paragraphs. Hey, my name's Bob Owens. My first dog was Buck. Here's my favorite retrieve. Here's what he meant to me. Here's like what I just said. We grew up in college together. We, got my first duck. His first retrieve is that. Like, give a couple paragraphs of homage to your pet. It's not going to be like a contest where like we pick our whatever. I don't have that ironed out of.
Nah, I feel like you can't compare. That's not fair to.
But are we going to read if like we did a thing on Patreon? Patreon only has heard about this idea, and we've gotten like 4 or 5. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of people are on there, and 4 or 5 sent it in. So now you multiply that with the podcast, and if we get 500 of these, we can't read 500.
No.
But the point is, I want to do a podcast where I tell your stories and your dog stories. And so if you would like your story of your dog of a lifetime to be read on the podcast, you're going to write it in an email and send it to Kevin, which the email is
loneduckpodcast@gmail.com. And maybe we could just do like the top dozen, not top, but like the first dozen, or you know what I'm saying? Like,
we're just going to read all of them. We're going to read all of them, and we'll do, and maybe it's something that we do quarterly. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I want it to lead up to me and Buck. And how I'm going to tell that story about me and Buck is to be determined. But the reason I haven't done it yet is because it is to be determined. Like, he is the dog that I'll never replace, and no one will. They just aren't the same. And Memphis is the same way for me. Like, she's the close second. After those two, I love them, and I feel like if you have a dog where you've had others, but that's a dog I want to hear from you about. I want to know why. I want to know the hunts. I want to know the memories and the emotion behind it. And I want to tell your story on this platform so that other people can enjoy hearing your story. And then we'll kick off a podcast with old Buck, and maybe we'll bring my dad in, and, maybe a couple buddies that we hunted with Buck that, just, I'm thinking of, off the top of my head, Kev, Dave Dwyer.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was thinking. He'd be a great one.
Dwyer's
He's been on the podcast before.
He has been. He's been on once. He's been on our Patreon hunts twice. Great friend of mine. But he was on the first hunt where we killed the lone duck.
Yeah.
Like, let Dave tell that story, not just me. Like, it would be a neat thing to pay homage to the dogs that me and you and everyone listening have loved, that are no longer with us. So please, if you find that interesting and you would like to participate, email loneduckpodcast@gmail.com. It doesn't have to be a 10-pager. Please don't make it a 10-pager.
Because Bob's got to read it. So also use small words.
Small words, good punctuation.
He was good.
He was a good boy. Him good. That's how I'll read it, to the best of my ability, to tell your story. And I think it'll be neat. So if that is something you'd like, send it in, baby. And we appreciate all those who have sent them in.
Yeah.
Very much. They were great stories. So thank you. All right. What's next, bud?
Dogs in the kennel. I want to hear about some of the hounds you got cruising around the Lone D. I feel like you got a younger crew this summer season.
Not really, actually. Well, good, fair. Let me restate that. We have a large crop of, air quotes, so everybody watching it on YouTube sees big dogs, right? Running master tests. Their first master test ever is middle of July. So in the grand scheme of my career, these are young ones, right? I have no idea what they're going to do with this test. They could look like doo-doos.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're young, but like they're doing everything that Quinn does, just not as good.
I got you.
You know what I mean? She's 5, they're 2.5 to 3, 2 to 3 years old. So they're a little bit of a wild card. And I think I entered 8 dogs in that test. 9? I don't know. But it's going to be a wild ride. Like, hang on to my seat. It won't be fun. It'll be stressful. I guarantee I won't be having a good time. It'll be.
Where's it at?
Okay, pull out another wild child. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, he broke. And doesn't break. He broke. Or did not sit on a whistle. Suck it. You suck, Bob. Or they're going to go whap, whap, whap and do great like they do in training. But it's just usually when I'm running master tests, it's 6 to 10 dogs. And of those 10, 6 or 7 have ran several or are already master hunters, or like it's a different crop this year. They're all boys. I think this is the first time they're all boys, and boys are immature like I am. I may be 38, but I act 18-ish, maybe 14 some days.
What we'll have to, I'm going to make a note. I'm going to make a note that it'll be cool to do a little retrospective.
Yeah, after called humble pie again. We've had plenty of humble pie.
We got to come up with a new name, because we do that twice a year.
Once a year. It's usually my spring test. Usually I get served humble pie after hunting season, and I feel like if we were to look back, it's always like March, April timeframe where it's like, oh, I thought they were better than this.
I'll have to look that up, because that would be pretty funny. Every year Bob sucks.
Every year I suck for a little bit, and then we get them back in the groove. But to me, this is like that deal. Like, I can tell you 3 of them are on the cusp of being true master dogs. Like, no, shouldn't be a problem. The others, I think, are more like by September, I should have them right where I want them, but we don't have till September. We got to get going now. And that's part of my job, is to push the envelope, manage the test, manage the dog, manage the training, and get it done when the going is tough.
Do you think you'll part of this?
The advice I would give everybody, the advice I give people is be over prepared, underwhelmed. I'm going to be overwhelmed, but I've got to do my job, which can be, and they may surprise me. Like, they really are good dogs, all of them. And on any given day are of that caliber. But the next day, they might have a wild hair in their butt and go, never land.
Yeah. Do you, part of today's episode was going to be like just a bunch of randos, just odds and ends around here. So what,
can I stop you before that? Did you write it down? It's written down. That the randos.
The question I had.
Well, because you did ask me about the young dogs, and I actually want to talk about the real young crew that I've got.
Oh, then yeah,
they've been tough.
Do it.
Yeah. And the owners know it. So if they do listen to this podcast, I ain't surprising anybody. This crop of basic gun dogs, 4-month program, go get a bird, deliver to hand, be steady, gunfire, live birds, dead birds, bows, blinds, a duck dog. This group has been anywhere from way too much drive and no discipline and no like rules to almost no drive. And I've got to teach them like that this stuff is fun. To go and get something and bring it to me is fun. To swim is fun. And it's challenging me because usually, let's say I have normally 30 dogs in the kennel. Out of 30, maybe 2 challenge me. Now we got 8 that are like taking extra time away from everyone else, that are questioning, pulling every little trick in the tool belt that I've got to get this sucker to actually retrieve. Right? Like just that simple term of doing a fun bumper for a few of these is like, wow, I'm at a loss. Like this should be fun. This is not even the hard stuff yet. And they are like, they're close to being 8 weeks in, which is really my cutoff of like, send them home. They aren't going to make it. But I don't like quitting on a dog or their family. And it's
got to be really hard.
Oh, it's the worst. And they're not bad dogs. Like they're sweet natured, like hang out with them, pet, like they're good dogs. I've got to get it. I got to get it done. I owe it to the people. I owe it to their families, and I owe it to the dog to do my job and not to quit. But they are pushing me to really be a better dog trainer, because back in the day when I was eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every meal and couldn't afford a pot to piss in, I wouldn't have quit. I would have figured it out. I would have pulled all the tricks out of my hat. And then there's this, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, and I'm not pointing any fingers, because I'm not putting myself on a pedestal. I'm not being arrogant about, like, I don't want it to come off like I'm being a jerk, but like I could send them home and say, it's not worth the money that you're paying me to take extra time. And there are some folks that do that. And there are some people that don't have the patience to struggle through this dog that's just wasn't made for it, man. It'll be fine as a pet, a lovable pet, but man, I just don't know. And I see this as a challenge. I don't like quitting. And I know that there's got to be something inside of them that I can get to some level. Now, its ceiling is going to be lower of what I can accomplish with it compared to like a Rambler, out of Quinn. His ceiling's pretty high. I'm probably his limitation, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I'm tracking.
These dogs is like, I just need you to go and swim 60, 70 yards or run, pick up a goose or a pheasant. Like, I just need you to, and they're at it. Like, I guess on one hand, I'm going to say the good thing I've done is balance their attitude. They're still super happy. They're now clicking. It isn't pretty, but it's clicking. And I got 2 more months. It may not be perfect like I normally like to send them home like, but as long as I'm honest with their owners and they're understanding, like maybe we do a couple extra weeks. I don't know. I'm hoping I don't have to, but I'm hoping that we're almost done with forest fetch. That's going to give me another tool in the tool belt to like, hey, you did that 60-yard mark. Now actually pick it up. Don't just run at it and then stand over and eat some grass. Seriously. So
that's why I'm.
Yeah. But if you get a couple good little zings in there and you can coach them through it, all of a sudden it's like, boom, light bulb moment. And I'm just praying and that my process is going to get this dog through it. But it's been a real challenge, and it's like banging my head against a wall some days where I'm like, man, you're a freaking nice little puppy. I like you. Can you just give me a break here and get the bumper or duck for me? And I believe in it. So maybe we do a report card on them in August and say, like, you know what, all that crew, I'm not talking smack. I'm just telling you that I have challenges too.
Sure.
It just doesn't come easy to every dog and every trainer. Like, these are making me pull all the stops out to get them to be a duck dog. And I'm hoping that in August I report back that all of them, clicked, made progress, stopped being vocal, stopped, tearing a duck apart. Like, you name it, one of them's tearing ducks apart because it loves it too much, and one of them doesn't want to pick them up or leave to go pick it up. And she's like, damn, son, we got a bag of tricks that we got to pull out. So good. It's going to be a challenging summer. It's great for the kids who work for me.
Yeah, that's a great point, because it provides a ton of learning moments and also opportunity for them to watch how you go through the process of like, okay, try this, now try this, now try this. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're getting a full education, because I feel like the last few summers I've been kind of spoiled with the young group that comes in that doesn't know their name. And 4 months later, it's like, thanks for coming, dude. We didn't have a single problem. You just went through the program and did a good job. You almost forget those ones. Like, they just do good. It's the ones that are like, good Lord, what are we doing? We're still on this. We're still doing that. But they'll make it. I'll make them make it. I will not give up. But as a professional, you have to tell the owners, like, hey, I'm swinging the fences here. Like, if they weren't, the caveat to me sending a dog home is if they aren't happy, they hate it here, they hate the job, they got to go. But these ones
Can you
are
explain why?
Because I'm not going to make thank you, good question. But I'm not going to make a dog do something that it freaking hates every day of its life for 4 months and be like, I turned out a mediocre duck dog that hates its life. Here you go.
Yeah, no one wants that. Can you imagine getting that dog back home that's just sad? And
yeah, that's the dog I sent home. Suck. Dogs that come out and are having fun, they don't know what the hell they're doing, and they don't even go and get a duck yet, but they're having fun, and they're like maybe making little baby progressions each week. Okay, we're making some progress. Like, all of them that I'm busting balls on now are swimming. Now we're picking up a duck. They may not like the bumper and retrieve the bumper, but once force fetch is done, now I can mold that into it and say, you have to. I'm not going to crucify them, but you got to. You chased it down. Now you got to. And because it's not a duck, you don't want to pick it up. Nope, we got rules.
Yeah.
So they're having fun. I do truly trust the process that, like, it'll happen. I've got to be patient. Like, I need to do some woosahs and deep breathing when it comes to them. But from week 2 to week 4, I was nervous. Week 4 to week 6, I was seeing the light, but nervous. Week 6 to week almost at the end of June, it'll be almost 8 weeks. I might have them. I might have them. But it's still nerve-wracking because I only got 2 more months to get them steadied up and gunfire and live ducks. And they've had live ducks, but not enough where it's like super successful.
Yeah.
So a lot ahead of us, but we're figuring out the ride. All right. Now to your randos.
My randos. You were talking about master tests and running tests for your clients. You think you'll do that forever?
What do you mean forever?
I feel like part of your, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like part of your business is training the dogs and then for lack of a better phrase, like pumping out ribbons to show proof of the dogs can do this sort of a thing. And so you run a bunch of master tests on behalf of clients to get the dogs to earn ribbons, to get them to master nationals and all these different things. But that's super time consuming. And as you said, it's not always sunshine and rainbow sprinkles.
Right.
Do you think you'll do that for a really long time?
I had to take a pull off my beer ski to answer that. I don't know, bud. I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, I balance like
that's a fine answer. I don't know.
Yeah. I think that there's parts of the year where I do not feel like going to another test. And I know like pretty much from middle of July to end of September into October, I'm going to be almost every other weekend plus field trials.
Damn.
So, but I'm looking forward to the one in July. Man, I'll probably look forward to the next few. And then I'll be like, dude, all I want to do is be home. And
yeah,
you know,
no, that's fair. Cause
there's that. I think last year and the year before I had a really good run in the field trials, which was fun. I mean, we were successful, and success is fun. Hard work and then rewards for your hard work is fun. I still find master tests challenging, but not the same way as I did when I first started. So the allure is different. Like I will be challenged this summer with this group. That's kind of fun to me, right? Going and taking Quinn and passing another master test, not super, like she better. I would be pissed, literally pissed, not upset, pissed if Quinn failed a master test. Because it would be something blatant that either I or she did wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It should be seamless for her to go to a test and sit still, pick up 3 birds and run 2 perfect blinds. And I'm not being a dink about like that sounds arrogant, but
it's just how the dog is. That's
5.5 or 6 years old and has a bunch of passes, pass a master national, multiple field trial finishes. She should be able to go to anything you throw at her. The hardest master test in the country, she should pass. Where Rambler, I'm kind of hoping for an easier master test, man. Like, let's see how he does. He's a damn good dog, but let's give him one to, test the waters. And then by the time he's 4 and 5 and 6, I expect him to be able to go to any of them and not be tricked, not be fooled by a poison bird, not, an out of order this or that. Like, that's kind of how I look at it. So to answer your question, will I run them forever? I don't know. You talk about I'm not married and I don't have kids. That could change my business plan that I'm not even aware of yet. Right. So they're like, for everybody who's listening, that's like a personal thing that I think about and deal with. And, I've given up something to be successful and do good work elsewhere, build a company, train hard, travel all over the country. And I've sacrificed some things in that regard to gain over in this side. And so let's say I had 4-year-old, your son, Jack, is 4. I had so much fun swimming in the pool with him the other night. If I had a little one like that, I wouldn't be like, yeah, dude, can't wait to leave again this weekend. I don't know. It's hard. I don't have the answer. I think about it often enough to wonder what it would look like to maybe just train duck dogs and stay on the property here and, have a number of dogs that I'm comfortable with a couple of little workers that weed whack and throw birds for me. And I just train and send them home after 4 months. Like, I don't know, but I still like going to the master tests. I still like challenging myself. And every time I get a new crop of young master dogs, that's fun and exciting. I even considered maybe even like I can't now. I waited too long, but the Master National. Sorry, I'm sweating like a bullet. Everybody who's now watching YouTube, this question has got me.
Now everybody knows that there's no AC in the podcast room.
In my house.
And it's the second floor sweat box.
Hot. 88 degrees in here. But where was I going with the bud?
I don't know. I didn't mean for it to get wildly personal. I meant more like, are you enjoying it? And like, you think it's something you'll do for a really long time?
Yeah. Enjoy it. Yes. Live for it like I used to. No.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I guess I forgot that, like, you, and I don't know how I forgot, but like you work a ton of hours all week and then travel 5 hours out to Ohio on a Friday night and then do it all weekend
on Sunday.
Yeah. That's
yeah. I mean, I've got to miss our family vacation 2 years in a row. That's personal stuff, everybody, but you all listen to me and Kevin, and I feel like you should know us well enough that we could have an honest conversation like this where you are getting to know me and you are getting to know Kevin and you care about us and we appreciate you tuning in week after week. That sucks that this year I'm going to get to go for 3 days and spend time with my family for 3 days. Last year, 3 days. And it's because I had to pass master tests. That's my job. I got to do my job. That hunt test where I'm missing it and you guys are at a lake house enjoying family time, I'm probably gonna be like, MF and this this test. I don't feel like being there. I'd rather be with you guys.
Yeah.
But I have a job to do and I want to do it well. So I'm not going to do it if I'm not going to give it 100%. But yeah, I don't know. 5 years from now, I may say, I'm going to slow down and run just a few. Or I'm going to go all field trials because it's fun. Or I may say field trials are just as time consuming and hey, we got a bunch of QAA dogs and had fun with it. And now I'm cool with master tests and, building duck dogs. I don't know. Today, I'm excited for this summer to get these young dogs their title. They're an awesome group of dogs. They're all dogs I've bred. That's another badass.
Well, that's a cool little fact of the day. That's all of them? All of them? You don't have a non-lone duck dog in the kennel?
Oh, not in the kennel. No, but
you mean in the master?
Running the master
I'm
test,
sorry. Yeah, I got you.
So it's like this great crop of badass bred dogs that
is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's really kind of cool.
Rambler.
Yeah.
My man. How old is he now? And do you think he's cut out to be a lone duck stud dog? Because it's been a while.
He's 2.5.
So he could be. Well, what did you do? Have you done the hips and elbows?
Yeah. We got all that done. He's good. He actually bred a dog a couple weeks ago that should be due.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay. So there we go. Breaking news.
Breaking news. Rambler's a dad.
Rambler.
Yeah, he doesn't have so that's the kind
He's a man now.
He's a man now. He loved it. Just like his dad. Stud dogging around, baby. Strutting. He carries himself differently now. He's got hair on his chin. Yeah, dude, he's a good dog.
Yeah.
I have a problem with always finding what's the word? Because it's not negatives. It's
Flaw.
not. Yeah, flaws. He doesn't have pretty much any.
No, he's awesome.
But he's not his mom, and she's not Memphis, and Memphis isn't. But like, you kind of just go down this line of I've trained so many now where you're just like, he's a good dog. When he comes out of the box, I'm excited to train him that day. He's going to give me 110%. He's typically going to mark really, really well. And he's typically going to run a really good blind. He gets squirrely once in a great while. He's 2.5. He's a male. He's thinking about the black female that was in my here a couple weeks ago. Who knows what's going through his little pea brain. He's a good dog. Like he would throw. Let me give you his strengths. Always happy. Almost to a fault. Like that's where I see like that could be a flaw. He's happy all the time. It's like, hey man, just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath.
Why is that a flaw?
Because you just at some point you just want him to take a deep breath. But he's like, we're doing cool shit. Got to be cool. Nothing cool is going on, but he's thinking it is. So he's just high all the time. I think it's not his fault. I think it's unfortunately for him when we raised him, we had a couple litters back to back where like he lived in the house for a good bit and was a house pet. So he learned in the house, we tone it down. But since he was probably 8 or 9 months old, he's pretty much been a kennel dog. And I feel like when they are in that environment, pretty much every time he's out of the box, life is awesome. We're playing with my buddies. We're doing 4-wheeler rides. We're going swimming. We're doing retrieves, and we're running blinds. All the time, something is cool is happening. We're like dogs that live in the house all the time are like, oh, I can lay down and relax. And so it's not his fault that he's that way. And honestly, it is a plus. Like, there's not a day that you don't crack his door open and let him out. He's not like, let's go, dude. What are we doing? You know?
But do you think that you can pair him with another dog that you can still create a desirable litter of puppies?
Oh my God. Yeah, dude. These aren't real negatives. These are just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that he's too high drive and not easy to handle. Like, he is also the first one, if you actually like pet him, boom, melts. Like Quinn does, you know, like as soon as you touch Quinn, she's like, oh my God, yes, this is awesome. And just will like absolutely eat it up. He loves attention. Like if he was a 16-year-old boy's dog, my God, you know, they would be their best friends going swimming in the river and throwing sticks and playing ball and then being a massive duck dog. I mean, he's a great dog. What else, dude? What else about him? He's very good looking.
He is a handsome devil.
He is handsome. I don't know how much he weighs. He's probably 75.
He's a good sized dog.
He's tall. He like when he sits up for his marks, it's, you know how some dogs like crouch down in that like cheetah position to like spring and launch. He sits even higher to like get a really good look out, and just like the higher he can get, the better it is. And just really proud of himself, like chest out, head up, very steady, 98% quiet. Once in a while, like on a triple, for an example, that last bird will go down and he'll let out like a, oh, like, it's my turn. You know what I mean? Like he's not whining anywhere other than that, like, oh, it's mine. And you're like, sit. And he like takes a deep breath and then you kick him loose. But he's not bad in that regard at all. Pretty dang good blind running attitude.
He's the star of a few Lone Duck YouTube videos.
Yeah, the T pattern goes wrong one. He's come a long way since that, folks, if you've seen that debacle. But no, he's ready to run his first master test. He's 2.5. Pretty mature, pretty good at the line. I'm hoping that all maintains. He's very quick on the whistle. He casts pretty good, but sometimes he digs back too hard. So if I need like a big angle, he'll typically dig back a little too much on me. There was a stint down south where he was auto casting a bit, just like so excited to go. He'd like see your just a quarter ounce of a movement gone. So we pretty much been working on that, and that's gone. He's a damn good dog. He'd be a great stud dog. You know, off the top of my head, who I'd breed him to, any dog that's like medium drive, he's going to bring him up. Any dog that you want a little, like he's not a giant. He's not 95 pounds. So like realistically, a small girl, he's going to bring their size up a little bit, or a big girl, he's going to, you know, even them out a little. He's got a great coat. I mean, there's a lot of good attributes that you would look for in a stud dog, or else I wouldn't keep him. What else?
I guess I asked because you're very, I feel like you're extra particular about stud dogs.
I'm pretty tough on them.
Like we've
they
used,
better be damn near perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know how many I've sold since I've owned them too, you know, several. That's just like, good dog. You know, but they gotta be perfect. That way you can balance out other dogs. Like the other thing about him that is not his fault, but I guess he's only black factored. I'd have to look back at his genetic thing, but I think he's only black factored. So like, he's not getting bred to prairie. He's not getting JoJo. I could breed him too, but we'd only have blacks. Where if I breed JoJo to yellow, we'd get blacks and yellows. But realistically, if we bred him to JoJo, those would be awesome dogs. It just would be in an all black litter, which isn't the end of the world.
No.
But we have people on a list that want yellows. And it's like, well, if we breed JoJo to a yellow, I'm going to get blacks and yellows and help those people out.
Right.
But they would make really nice puppies, good marking dogs. They'd be high. They'd be for the hardcore hunter and competitor. They wouldn't be, like prairie is that perfect mix of hunting, competition, and house pet.
She's my favorite.
Rambler and JoJo, they're going to be that upper caliber of like, you got to know what you're getting into. It's going to need exercise. It's going to need training. It's going to need to release that energy somewhere in a positive way, and they will be excellent, loving, gentle, never met a stranger. Like, he's never been in a scuffle, especially stud dogs for me. Like, they better not be a fighter. If they have any ounce of ass in them, they aren't being bred to anything I own, or I'm not going to own them. You know what I mean? He's just a good boy. So a lot of strengths out of him. So with that being said, shout out to Rambler. If you got a female you're looking to, add a little, shout out
he's
to
ready,
raring
to go.
He's here and ready to go, baby. But yeah, he's a hell of a dog. I should highlight him more in our stories.
Yeah, he's
damn
a good one.
Dog. Yeah.
You got time for one more?
Yeah.
I need to ask your opinion on one.
Okay.
I don't think I even told
sweat right now.
I know. I got one. It'll be a quick one.
It's glossy in here.
Yeah. I was in Tractor Supply a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
With my wife. And
okay.
Well, I just
glad it wasn't not your wife.
Well, yeah, but you know who she is, but for me to just be like, oh, hey, Rachel and I were hanging out. Other people watching this might be like, well, who's that? I don't know. So anyways, we were in Tractor Supply, and coming around the corner was an adorable, really good looking German Shepherd puppy with a vest on saying like, I'm in training to be a whatever dog. And there was an older lady in front of me who was like, oh my God, that's a beautiful puppy. And the trainer lady snapped at this old lady and was like, did you read the vest? The dog is in training. Please don't look at the dog. Please don't look at the dog. And I was like, this lady has no idea what she's doing with dog training. If she doesn't want if she's in a store and doesn't want someone to look at a puppy, don't be out here walking around with a cute puppy and think that people aren't going to look at it. Do you have thoughts and opinions on cute puppies in public?
Well, I think it's how, like, the lady who snapped, the handler, don't be pretentious.
Yeah, oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, like, take it down a notch, you jerk.
Yeah.
You're gonna run into people who did read the vest and still want to do it. There's just a right way and a wrong way to speak to people.
Oh, 100%.
I know. I'm not talking to you now. I'm just answering the question, right? Like, this is like, you're gonna get a knucklehead who still wants to pet the dog, or high-pitched voice and like allows the dog to jump on them and is like, oh, it's okay, I have him at home. It's like, ma'am, like, I just spent 4 months training this obedience dog and I've done everything to keep him from jumping, and you just helped him. But there's a nice way to speak to people. And I think that there's some folks that do that sort of thing with the service dogs and that are just, it can be pretentious. Listen, everyone in every industry can be a dink. So I'm not pointing too many fingers at too many people in the dog training world, but like, yeah, that lady who's the handler should know that someone's going to screw up and do something they're not supposed to be doing. hence petting the service dog, or like, that like a blind seeing eye person definitely has some dummy come up and try and mess with the dog. Like there's dumb people everywhere. So what I would do in those situations was like, oh, you know what? We're working on this. Let me get control over the pup, and then I'll invite you in to pet them if that's okay with you. And they're like, oh yeah. So like I told them what I wanted them to do with me asking a question. Like, I'm going to do it my way. And then I'll nicely, politely say like, now you can pet them. I have done service dogs, but the dog is like, it really just needs to be not jumping, not nipping, not yanking you around. And if I can take 2 seconds and like calm that other person down who's not paying attention to like the right way to handle it, and I can control the situation and then be like, okay, now you can pet him. And if he jumps, I'm going to make a baby correction. And, then we're just going to stop petting for a second and then we can try again. Okay, cool. But yeah, don't be a pretentious handler. And if you see a dog at Tractor Supply, they're not all your friend. You don't need to pet every dog you see. That's my take.
I just couldn't believe that the lady was out and said, don't look at the dog. Like, get out of town. Don't look at, you told an old lady not to look at a puppy.
Yeah.
Why are you out socializing in different environmental stimulating situations and being like, don't make eye contact?
I know, because the dog needs to be able to stay in work mode and not. So it's called social neutrality. That's a term.
Okay.
And so that person is really honing in on, I have a puppy and it needs to just kind of be cool, calm, and collected in all environments, not ramp up to 10, come back down, ramp up to 10, come back down. It needs to just kind of like go through life. And so, yeah, I get where she's coming from. Truthfully, Kev, it's just, there's a way to handle it that's not in a jerk way. But yeah, no, it makes sense what she was working on. Like, yeah, that puppy needs to know that not every stranger is its jumping, nipping, playful toy to go and explore. I don't mind, like, if you're asking me my opinion on socializing a puppy, I don't mind when that person wants to come up and pet him, but I still will caveat it as like, hey, we're still working on no jumping. So I'm going to make sure that it doesn't jump on you. Okay, cool. Oh, it's nipping. I'm going to stop that. We're not going to keep petting it, and just kind of like coach the person who wants to pet the puppy a certain way. But I'm okay with a Labrador retriever that's going to be a duck dog to be a tiny bit excited around strangers. Like, that's not a problem to me, but I'm not going to allow bad habits to form, jumping, nipping, yanking me around, all that. But for someone who's actually developing a seeing eye dog, a dog that, has to hang out next to someone in a wheelchair and like pick things up and be with them in those environments, they really do need to stay pretty neutral around strangers, where not everybody is their friend. They are just another thing that we're cruising past, and we're just doing our job. So it makes sense. She just could go about it differently. Did you buy any turkeys in Tractor Supply?
I did not buy any turkeys in Tractor Supply, but I did, out of saltiness, look at the dog.
Just I stare at it.
I'm like, don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, I'm
gonna watch this puppy.
Drop a treat. Yeah. Well, I'll digress for 1 second before we hang up. Little Jack, Kev's son, has wanted a turkey for 2 years now, a year and a half now. Talking about, because I get chickens. I love my chickens. Everybody knows I love my chickens. I love them more than anything in the world. And he's like, oh, come, Uncle Bobby, can we get a turkey? I'm like, we're not getting a turkey. So this
was during turkey season, where it was like, I'm talking about going turkey hunting and like looking at turkeys and let's go find turkeys in the field. And he's like, Uncle Bobby gets chickens. We should get a turkey.
Yes. Thank you. So I'm in Tractor Supply, I don't know, a month ago, and there was some turkeys, and I got one. So we asked Jack, what do we want to name? And he goes, Jack Owens. Like, all right, dude. Apparently my new turkey's name is Jack O.
Yeah, so he thought it was a good name.
Uncle of all time. Just buy a turkey for him.
Yeah. Whatevs. He was really pumped and said that he would be happy to make room in his bedroom for it. I was like, no, that's not how this works, dude. It's all fun and games till Thanksgiving rolls around.
That's right. That's right. Jack, do you like the taste of your turkey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think that we'll just never tell him this. And then someday he'll be combing through old Lone Duck videos and be like, what? My life's a lie.
My life's a lie. Oh, he didn't run away.
Yeah.
We ate him. So hey, listen, everybody who tuned into this episode, I appreciate you so much. If you like the show and you want to support the show, do me a favor, give it the old 5-star review, leave a comment. We keep forgetting to say that. We appreciate it. We really do. So if you feel like taking 2 seconds after this episode and doing it, we appreciate it. If you really appreciate the show, you can hop on patreon.com/Lone Duck Outfitters, join the community, join our happy hours. I kind of talked about it a few times in this episode where we do the Zoom meetings twice a month, happy hour, have a beer with me. We answer questions from everybody in the community over the Zoom. It's a lot of fun. And, you get a little bit of one-on-one coaching from your dear old Uncle Bob. And it's a way for you to support the podcast, support the YouTube channel. We're doing our best to keep this, on the up and up for all of you and us. So thank you for tuning in to another episode, Kev. Thanks, buddy. Cheers to you.
Cheers, buddy.
Keeping us rolling all the time. And we'll catch you in the next one, everyone.